gets illegal, the drug gets stronger. Some illegal drugs are definitely capable of having adverse effects on health. Some illegal drugs are clearly very dangerous. Prohibition makes them stronger, more dangerous, and fails to reduce their use. Prohibition does not reduce the medical harm caused by drug use, it increases it. Prohibition increases any harm that might be caused by recreational drug use. We often hear talk about a war on drugs. Now, you ever seen a white powder climb out of a bottle, dissolve itself in water, squeeze itself into a syringe, and then go and attack someone? It's a war against drug users, a civil war against the majority of the younger generation. A recreational drug, by virtue of its inherent chemical nature, cannot cause crime. It can only do so through interaction in a social context, which is prohibition and the consequent black market. Prohibition, quite simply, is therefore a root cause of crime, violence, and ill health. Prohibition is a very, very recent social experiment, less than 100 years old. For several million years before then, every creature was permitted to consume whatever it wanted. Prohibition is not control and should not be equated with control. Prohibition is the abrogation of control, leading to unregulated peddling of adulterated substances outside the reach of the law. It would be difficult to construct, even if one deliberately contrived to do so. A policy more physically dangerous, more individually criminalizing, more socially destructive, more secret and efficient than this, which we now have under prohibition. It is an extremely dangerous failure. Any system which continually implements an increasingly failing policy is obviously insane. Any system which knowingly pursues this counterproductive, dangerous, and divisive policy is fundamentally immoral. Any system which continues to implement a policy that has been shown to create urban warfare and imprisons those who need our help is also fundamentally immoral. Drugs exist. Though some people talk about ridding the planet of drugs, I think God or nature or some equally heavy, significant entity has done a good job of making sure that drugs will continue to exist in this world. Some people want to take them, despite the prophesizing and advice of politicians. So drugs exist and some people want to take them, that's the bottom line. There are quite simply just 4 ways of handling this situation and distributing the drugs. Each is familiar and well entrenched in society. Drugs could either be distributed through high street outlets, such as supermarkets. We're all used to those. They could be distributed through medical prescription, as in the case of Valium, barbiturates, Viagra. They could be distributed through licensed premises, as in the case of tobacco and alcohol. That's the 3 ones we're all very familiar with. There's another way of distributing them, and that's through organized crime. Personally, I've had no problem with this last alternative. It's enabled me to become rich and have a very wonderful life. But I do have a problem with a government that has consciously opted to choose organized crime as the preferred means of drugs distribution. There are thousands of British doctors who would have no problem prescribing recreational drugs. There are thousands of unfortunate souls whose suffering is relieved by illegal recreational drugs. There are thousands of British policemen that want to help kids, not bust them. There are hundreds of judges who can't bear the ethical conflict they face when sentencing cannabis users. There are millions of British parents who can no longer stand their kids being criminalised, stigmatised and ruined for life. There are millions of kids who wish they didn't have to lie. Pity the government doesn't feel the same. What does this government suggest? What wonderful initiatives, innovations and wisdom does it care to bestow? Prohibition to the point of zero tolerance. Trying to achieve zero tolerance is like trying to achieve absolute zero. Can't be done. But I know what they mean. I know their underlying sentiment. I'm beginning to feel the way, same way. Means quite simply, fuck you. That's all I've got to say. If you would throw it open to question and answer again.